Nous allons passer la main maintenant à Haye, qui va nous présenter son sujet Find an Error.
Hello, we are students from the European School of the Haye and are in the first and second year of secondary school. Our names are Francesco,
Leontine,
Alexander,
and Tico.
Today we would like to present an error finder, together with all of the maths and coding behind it.
In our presentation, we are going to talk about the error finder, what is a message, how we can calculate the controls, how to find one error, how to correct one error, how to find two errors, and our conclusion.
the error finder. This problem has been proposed by the researcher Jordan Frécot from the INSA in Rouen, Normandy. We have been trying to solve it since a while now, and this is how it works. Person A sends a message from The Hague to person B in Rouen. While sending, an error can come. Person B, the receiver, needs to determine if there's an error or not, and if yes, what the original message was, and he has to retrieve the error.
What is a message? The first step is to understand what a message is. We decided that a message would be a squared box the size of your choice. We use 3 by 3 in all of our examples, but the square can be as big as you want. The message is composed by ones and zeros in a certain order.
Excuse me, dear students. Excuse me. Your presentation is not working. So your slides are not...
Only see the first one.
We're staying on the first slide.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, so if you want, you can start over again. Will be better, perhaps. Is it okay?
And does it work here? Ça marche?
Well, we only see the first slide.
Et là, j'ai changé. Vous voyez tout là? Ça défile?
Non, non.
Ah, mince.
Vous devriez passer en plein écran. Passer en plein écran sur
On met
votre...
en plein écran chez nous. On met en plein écran sur l'ordinateur.
Est-ce que vous avez bien partagé votre écran?
Alors, on refait.
Partagez votre écran aussi, hein, vous l'avez fait ça?
Oui, oui, on l'a fait. On recommence.
D'accord.
Alors, on refait.
because I'm looking at the
Yeah, we glitched. The computer is wrong. Because over there we're not moving.
Ah, c'est peut-être ça là. Interscreen.
On that screen we're not moving either.
This one?
On the
Yes, I
screen
know.
over there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm moving again.
Et là?
So slow.
Ça a l'air de mieux fonctionner. C'est parti.
Ah, là, c'est parti.
Finally.
Okay. So, okay, go.
Okay, we will start again. Hello, we are students from the European School of the Hague and are in the first and second year of secondary. Our names are Francesco.
Leontine,
Alexander,
and Tico.
Today we would like to present an error finder together with all of the math and coding behind it.
Content. In this presentation, we are going to talk about the error finder, what is a message, how we can calculate the controls, how to find one error, how to correct one error, how to find two errors, and our conclusion.
the error finder. This problem has been proposed by the researcher Jordan Frécot from the INSA in Rouen, Normandy. We have been trying to solve it since a while now, and this is how it works. Person A sends a message from The Hague to a person B in Rouen. While sending, an error can occur. Person B, the receiver, needs to determine if there's an error or not, and if yes, to find out what the original message was by retrieving the error.
What is a message? The first step is to understand what a message is. We decided that a message would be a squared box the size of your choice. We used 3 by 3 in all of our examples, but the square can be as big as you want. The message is composed of ones and zeros in a certain order that you determine. This is an example of a message.
How we calculate the controls. The first mission was to find if there was an error or not. For that, we had the idea to create some controls. The controls are on the side of the box, in blue here, and they're calculated as the following. If the sum of the numbers in the line is even, then the control is a 0. If the sum is odd, then the control is a 1. We used the process for all the columns. We created an Excel sheet to automatize the process, using the formula in the white box.
In the first box, person A, the sender, puts his message into the yellow boxes. The control is automatically made by Excel as explained before. Person B, the receiver, gets the message with a control and will check if it has an error. He puts the message in the yellow boxes as seen above together with its controls he receives in the blue cells. Another control is automatically created in purple using the same process as explained before to create the controls of the original message. Now we need to find a way to compare the new control and the original one. In this, if they are the same, not the same, then there is an error and the corresponding line or in the corresponding column.
To check that, we use Excel as following. If the sum of the blue and purple column is even, meaning the controls are the same, then a T for true is placed. In the next cell, if the sum is odd, meaning the controls are different, then an F, meaning false, is placed in the cell using the formula. You can see and the cell becomes red using conditional formatting. If the box next to the second control is red, then that means that there is an error, or in the row or in this column. Where both of the incorrect columns cross, the number is incorrect. This is how we can find an error in the message. How to correct one error. Now we can modify the received message to get the right one. For each cell, if the corresponding line and the corresponding column correspond to an F, then it means there's an error. So a 0 has to be changed into a 1, and the 1 has to be changed into a 0. Nothing else changes. The formula you can see corresponds to the first cell of our message.
How to find two errors. Now that we could find and correct one error, we try to find a solution to find and correct two of them. For that, we need more control numbers. We add diagonal controls in addition to the horizontal and vertical ones. And we have to check the intersection of our control lines, the horizontal, vertical, and the two diagonal ones. Our first idea was to place the controls in the form of an octagon. We made many trials and spent a lot of time on this, but it did not succeed. So we decided to organize the controls differently.
We will show you how a receiver can find two errors in a sent message. On the left, you can see the correct message as it was sent. In the outside of the sent message, we have added horizontal, vertical in blue, and two diagonal controls in green and orange. The arrows can show you which box control which line, columns and rows. On the right is the received message with two errors. Using the same process as we did to detect one error, we can now calculate the controls corresponding to the received message and compare them to the original ones. The errors will be where the horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines corresponding to an F for false intersect. You see them with the purple arrows. There is also an interesting situation as one control, a vertical control in this case, shows T for true, while there are two errors in the vertical line. This shows us that we have to check only the F lines showing false controls, but we cannot rely on the T for true being really without an error, as it could have two errors which cancel each other. For the error correction, we use the same formula as the correction of one error. When we have found via three lines in which box the error is the error, we convert the number from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 0.
Our conclusion. So we found out how to make a control for messages with one or two errors. We found out how to detect one or two errors and also how to correct them. We have also made a formula to start a program on Excel, but we still haven't done the correction for the two errors.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Avez-vous des questions? Nour, une question? Non?
Yes, hello, thank you for the presentation. Would the same method you use for 2 errors also work for 3 errors, or would it be necessary to add even more checks?
Sorry, we didn't hear very well.
The question is, would your method work also with 3 errors, or would you have to make extra checks?
We would have to make extra controls.
Any question? No? So thank you very much. It was a beautiful presentation. Thank you very much.